Today is 27th November 2020. Now we'll continue our Crud operation which we stopped yesterday. Let's work on that one. Okay, so this is so we were doing the subscription part, and we'll continue with the subscription. And for subscription, I created the live query function, and I created the query where I will create a live subscription. This query is similar to the query which we created previously for the search one, except we don't have the skip, limit, and count, and only the query part is there, other part is there. Okay, so this is the query we have, and then I created the subscribe one, and when any new object is created, we use this part. When any object is updated, we use this part. When any object is entered, we use this part, and when any object is left the event, we use this part. And someone deletes a record, we use this part. So all applications may not require all this part. For example, when you do the chat application, you can use only this create part. Other part are not really important on that one. So you can delete all the other part if it is not needed. We will do all this part in this project to understand how things work. But when you go with your live project, you can skip whatever is not needed. Let's go now one by one. So whenever the object is created, we need to so we have the array of the results. So whenever the new subscription is created, we will update this results using the set data. So we have to update the results, and we have to increase the count to one more. So when the page will load, these results will be populated, and the count will already be there to some number, 3 or 5, whatever records you have. So when we get the new data, we will update this results part, and we'll also update the count. So that is the aim of the create. So let's do the create part now. So whenever the new data is created, I will call this create event function, and I will pass the record. This record will be similar to this item which we get. Okay, so this item which we get, it is similar, and we will add that in the results array in this one. So let's do that. So whenever I get new data, what I will do, I will call the set data function, because we have to update the data, and we have to update the results and the count. So I'll call the set data function, and in the set data I have the arrow function, and arrow function will get some data, and this I will put D, and this D is nothing but the data, this data. So I'll put the D. Now I'll update the array. So I will return the object, and this object should be similar to this one, results and the count. So I will do like this. First I will take whatever is in the D. So I'll use a spread operator to get everything in the D. Then let's say count is there. I will increase the count. So previously, let's say count is D.count. I will add one more. So whenever new record is added, I will add one count plus. And then I will update the results array like this. Since it is array, I will mark it as array. And I will take the previous array, that is D.results, because we have the previous array in the D.results, and I can add the new record here. But if I add new record here, the record will be at the bottom, not at the top. So what I will do, I will move this record in the front of the D.results. So now record is in the top, not at the bottom. Okay, so this is what we do for the create enter. So I added the record and then I put whatever is in the D.results. So let's say D.results is 5 records. So I will have the 5 records here, and then new record is added here, and that is updated in the results, and overall I will return this object. And this create enter I will call when we have the create, and I will pass the object. I will call the same function for the enter also. I created this create and enter for both. So for enter also, I will call the same function. Let's call this update one when user updates the data. Though it will not do anything now because we have not written anything, but I'll call this update when user will update the data. And let's call delete and leave when we have the delete or leave. So when someone deletes, I'll call delete leave and pass the object, and I'll call the same function on the leave also, because both have to be worked similarly when either you leave it or you delete it. Right now, update will not do anything, only we will check the create and enter part. Let's see if we have any error in the terminal. So doesn't look we have any error. So let's try to see it on the browser. Okay, so subscription is created successfully. Now we have 3 records. So when I add the data, though the pagination will increase 1 to 4 of 10, it will not follow the max number which we show here, because we are not manipulating the pagination. We are just adding the record at the top of this one. So when the user will refresh the page, or when the user will go to next page, then the pagination will follow its own rules, whatever we have. But when we have some data coming, then we don't care of the pagination. We just want to show that data here. Or if we are updating, we want to update the data. If we're deleting, we just delete the row, irrespective of pagination. Okay, so that's the goal of this one. So now let me add it in the new window so you can check how the things are. So as soon as I will add the new record, you will see here in the console.log that object created, and I will see the new row at the top here. Let's add one more location. For example, I will put let me put bundling game. This is created content which will be populated itself. So now once I click submit, you will see the new row is added at the top of this table, and we have the console.log object created. So as soon as I add, you will see the new record is coming here without refreshing the page, and we have the object created coming here. Let's add one more. Okay, so I'll add it. You will see, watch it. Okay, I'll add it in another screen. So just watch it coming it here. Now I am clicking the submit button. Okay, let me clean this. I created it. It's coming here. So new content is there. This is the one, and we got the object created. So when you build the chat application, you need only the object created. New content will come again and again. You have to just use that content. Okay, let's do now the update part. So when something is updated, we want to update the data here on the screen. So update is called here, this update. Similarly, I'll do same thing. I will call the set data, and in the set data we have the arrow function, and I'll get the D here. D is nothing but the data which we have. So if we have some data in next page, we don't need to update here or live here, because when user will click next page, anyhow he will get the new data. We need to update only what we see here. So when I update the data, if it is either of these three, then only I will update it. Otherwise, I will not update it, because when user will go to the next page, he will anyhow see the new data. So let's update the data which is currently we have. So I'll return the object here because we have D as object. I'll take the previous D here, and when I update, count will remain same. I don't need to do anything on the count. So I'll not touch the count part. So I'll touch only the results part. I will say so I'll go through each result. So I'll say d.results.map. So I'll go through each results and then fix the one which I want to do. Fix the one which is updated. So map is used that I look through each record and I will update the results whenever I want, whatever I want. So here I created the arrow function inside the map, and inside each arrow function I get the record. So if we have 10 records, I will get 10 records one by one here. And here I will check if record.id is equal to record.id. So if any of the record is matching with this record, so ID will be same, then I'll return the record. So if they are matching, I will not take this record, I will take this record. Okay, and then if it is not matching, then I will return the record. So results will get I will map all the record, and if the record ID is similar to the record ID which is in the result, then I pass the new record that is coming here, whatever is coming here. And if it is not same, then I'll return the record. This is the old one which we have already on the page. So we only add a new one if we have the record matching with the updated record which is coming here. So let's say we have the ID of 1, 2, and 3, and this record is coming for the ID 2. So it will check this 1 is equal to 2. No. So it will return the old one. Then it will check 2 is equal to 2. Yes. So it will return the new one. New one is this record. And it will check 3 is equal to 3. No. So it will return the old one which is coming here. This record is old one which is currently on the page. And this record is the new one which is coming from the parse live query. So I will only update using this the new record. Okay, so this is how we update it. We can update it in different way also, as we did the to-do application. If you remember how we did in the to-do, we can update that way also. We will see that way also. I will write down another function also, maybe in few days, which will take the similar update method as we did in the to-do web. And this is another method to update the results. So either of this you can use it. So what does it does? It looks through the current result and check the current result is equal to the new record. If it is matching, then it will update the new record. It will pass the new record. And if it is not matching, it will return the old record. And the old record will be saved in the results part. So this is how we do update. Now we'll do it by going to the dashboard and update it, because we don't have edit functionality yet ready. Okay, so let's go to testing all. So I will update the record here, and you will see changes here. Okay, let's do that one. So we have the content. I will update this one, new one. And as soon as I will update it, you will see update here on this part. And you will see the content is updated here. So this is the new content. I will change it to changed content. Okay. And as soon as I go out, content is changed, and you will see on the screen content is changed. Because we get it the new content here, and this new content is changed content. And I take this new content and I updated the old content here. Let's do one more. So let's change this one. I will mark it as changed. Okay, let's do the change. See, immediately it got changed here without refreshing the page and without doing anything. So this is also update. We can do update also, and the update result will be seen here. Now let's do the delete part. So let's do the delete, finish the delete one. So in the delete one also, we will call the set data, and set data has arrow function. We'll get a D is the data, and I'll return the object because D is object, and we'll take the previous D as usual. We don't want to mess up with the current data. Only we have to delete the current record. So count will become 1 less. So I'll say D count -1. So whatever count is there, we have to decrease the count. And the results, let's do the results. Here, I just want to delete the record. So I don't want to take the record which is deleted. This record is deleted. So I will not use map. Map modifies the data and returns the data. I will use here filter. I'll say d.results.filter, and it will take in the filter. If I return true, then so the filter is an arrow function, and we get the record here also. And if I return true, then this record will be added to the results array. And if I return false, then this record will not be added in the results. So one by one, I have to go through this record, and I have to return true or false. If it is true, that record will be added to the results array, and if it is false, then that record will not be added in the results one. So I'll say, so I'll just return record.id is not equal to record. Rec.id is not equal to record.id. So only in the one case, so if both are matching, then I don't want that one. So record.id. So let's take the example. So let's think that this record is coming with the ID of 3, and we have ID of 1 and 2 and 3. So I will check first 1 with this 3, whether they are, I'm saying whether they are not equal to 3, this is true or false. This is true because 1 is not equal to 3. I'm saying 1 is not equal to 3, it is true. So this will return true, and I will take this 1 in the results array. Then I'll check. Similarly, is 2 is not equal to 3? That is true. So I will take this also, 2 also in the results array. Then finally I'll check 3 is not equal to 3, that is false, because 3 is equal to 3 we know. So in this case it will return false, and it will not be added in the results array. So only the record which is not added in the results array is this one. All 2 will be added in the results array. So that is how we do the record delete. We remove it from this result. We delete also we can do in the same way as we did in the to-do app. That is another way, which I will also write down that way also and show you that one in any of the new project. But right now we'll do this method in this project. Okay, let's do this again now. Okay, so some mistake is here. So I don't have to put semicolon here. Okay, so this is the 3 record, and I will delete one of the record. Okay, let's delete the record. And as soon as I delete the record, you will see the record is gone from this. Let's delete this one, the top one. So I can click and delete this row. So as soon as I will click yes, you will see this top one will be gone. And you'll see in the console.log the record which I am deleting it. So I'll say delete. So as soon as I delete the record, you will see that record is gone. And we also get total number less than 1 than it was in previous one. And that record is gone. Let me delete that second one also, this one also. Let me delete that second one also. This one. Okay, let's delete that one. And that is gone. So that way we can delete also. So you will see the record is deleted as soon as we delete it in the database. It deletes automatically here. So if we build something that user deletes at one page and it will be reflected in another page, it will be automatically deleted. Okay, so this is all about the delete one. Let's see the enter and leave part. Okay, let me search something here. For example, Dublin. Let's say I search Dublin. So you will see only the one record is with the Dublin. Now I'll try to edit any of the content here and try to add the Dublin keyword in that content. So as soon as I add the Dublin content, you will see the enter, subscription enter will be appearing here, and enter is similar to create, so record will be added here at the top. So for example, this is the 6th post. In this post, I will add the Dublin. So previously, since this Dublin was not in the 6th post, so you were not able to see that 6th post here on this page. But now, since I added the Dublin, it should appear immediately as soon as I go out of this box. And here in the console, you will see object entered will appear and new record will be created because both have similar function. So as soon as I went out of this, you will see this is the 6th post and I'm seeing the Dublin. And you will see, though object updated is also called, but we are concerned with the entered one because new record has been created and that new record is to be added here because new record is entered in our search criteria. Now let's say if I remove the Dublin from this, then the left subscription left part will be called and this will be deleted because we no longer have Dublin in our search criteria in this record, so it should go away from this row. So as soon as I will remove this Dublin, then it will not match the Dublin in the sixth criteria. So I empty the content and this is giving some error. This error will, I'll take later. Um, this this is some unusual error because I deleted something. Okay, let's add something here and then I'll fix this error. Right now I don't see. Okay, so this is unusual error and it will take some time to fix it. That I will do later because generally by mistake it was clicked wrongly and that's the reason it got this error. So let's do this Dublin again. Let me add the Dublin here. As soon as I added the Dublin, you will see the Dublin is coming here. Now I'll remove this Dublin part and you will see the Dublin is gone here. So if we remove it, it's called the left leave because it is no longer in our search criteria. And if we add it, we get the entered one because it comes in my search criteria. So that is how we do the entered and the updated part. So the last piece which we have to do. So this is the delete part. Last piece I'll tell you. Update is there, enter is there, and delete is there, and live query is there. So the last part is this delete subscription which we have to do. Otherwise the whole thing is done in the subscription part. Okay, so as soon as the user will search or do anything on the page, we need to first delete the old subscription and then create the new one. Otherwise, you will be getting 2-3 subscription and multiple time delete and multiple time update will be called if we don't do this part. So as soon as the subscription is created, that is the live query is created, we have to first delete the old one and we have to create the new one. So how to do that? So I'll say if subscription is there, that is this subscription which I created here, this subscription, and if I have something in the subscription.current, because everything we save in the current one. So if we have the subscription and subscription.current, then I unsubscribe. So I will say await subscription.current.unsubscribe. So if we have anything in the subscription or subscription.current, then we unsubscribe here and then we resubscribe here again here. So whatever we previously have, we have to unsubscribe it and subscribe it again here with the new query which we have. So anything changes in the search criteria or anything on the page, when we call this function live query, we have to unsubscribe previous one and then we have to new subscription will automatically created with this part. So that is how we do this one, unsubscribe one. We also want to unsubscribe when the user leaves this component. When the user leaves the component, then we have to unsubscribe also. So to do that, I will create another use effect. Unsubscribe when user leaves the current component. So whenever we go out of this component to another component, we have to unsubscribe. So I'll use another use effect. So this use effect will be called whenever we move out of the current component. And to do that, I will show you how to do that. If I return anything here, so return should be an arrow function. So when I return arrow function, whenever I go away from this component, then this return will be called. And here I'll show you console.log. I am going away from current component, so unsubscribing live query. So this is the message we'll see when we go away from the current component. So I'll show you the effect here. One second. Let me delete this. So this is my current component. So as soon as I will go away from this component, you will see that message. So when I click the add, you will see the message is coming. I am going away from the current component, so unsubscribing live query. Right now I only put the message, but I'm not unsubscribing, so I will do unsubscription also. Let me do the unsubscription when I go away from the current component. So here I will, right now I will check if subscription is there and subscription dot current is there. If this value is there, then only I will do console.log unsubscribing and then I'll say subscription dot current dot unsubscribe. Okay, so this part is done. So whenever we go away from this page, we have to unsubscribe using this method. If we don't do this, then subscription will be there, and no matter where are you on any component, this will be called again and again. We don't want to call this subscription part when we go to some other page. So let's do this now. I think there's some spelling, subscription is not defined. Let's see if there is some spelling mistake. It's a subscription. Okay. So page is loaded, subscription is created successfully. When I go out of the page, we are unsubscribing. When we go again on the page, subscription is created successfully. So this is how we do the subscription part, and this closes the subscription part, and we are done with all the key parts of this page. The only thing remaining is now edit, delete, and delete, edit, detail, and delete part, which we will do now in. And now, so before going to edit, delete, or detail page, do you have any question on subscription one? So you have to practice to really understand. So you have to understand, you have to practice it to see really. But whatever I explained you, do you have any question on that? You can ask. Otherwise, we'll move to the. So this is such a big code is there, and this code is to be written only if you want to really use the subscription part. If you don't want to use the subscription part, then you can delete this part and don't call this live one. And if you want to use the delete, if you want to use the live query, then only call this one. So whenever we want to do something on the page unload, that is on the component change, then we can create a use effect and return something. This will be called when we move from one component to another. So this is called on unmounting phase. Okay, so if you have any question, you can ask me in the chat or Telegram. Let's move to the edit, delete, and that part, whatever we have. So let's start with the edit one. Then we'll go with the delete and let's do edit today, and maybe delete and detail we'll do on Monday. So we have the add one. Let's rename this to edit one. So I'll save it as edit.jsx. So this is now edit. So now we are doing the edit part. So edit part means we need to pre-populate the data and user should be able to edit the data. Now if I go and in the routes, I have to put it in the route also because this is a new component. So I'll say edit. And I'll do the edit part here. And let's call the one route for edit. And edit, I also need to pass the ID which I want to edit it. And I'll go with the edit one. So whenever we have edit, we call the edit page. And we also need to pass the ID because we may have multiple records. So we have to pass the ID which I want to edit it. And in the home page, I have this edit part. So I will use the edit one. And so question is this one. Instead of new component, shall we use props for create and edit, which is better? So you can also use the add page. So you can also use the add page to edit it in this page only. And that is much better because you have to only write the one component and you have to edit there also, add also there. But that increases little complexity. And since we are learning this, I don't want to add so much complexity on the single page. So that's the reason I created edit as a separate one. Or you can do another thing. You can put this form part in one page and maybe put this handle submit in another one. So you can call from both the pages. So it will, reduce your work. But right now, since we want to really learn the edit part, I don't care if it is same page or separate page. So we're trying to see how the edit part is done. Later on, you can mix edit and add as a single page to reduce your work. Okay, so for now, we'll be writing a new function, new page. So whenever user will click the edit one, I should go to this edit component, and to use that I will use the link part. We cannot use a href tag. Can anyone tell me why a href tag is not to be used here like this? So I can use a tag also, but I will not use it, or it is not advisable to use the a tag. Can anyone tell me why? Yes, a tag will refresh the page, and I don't want to refresh the page. I want to be the single page application so that it does not refresh the page. Okay, what is another question? I see one question. One second. So what is another question? Let me read. Can I use ACL set private write access to enable all users to post on the website, and public read access false to disable all users to the post of another user? So you can do that. You can make the public access false so no one can see that. You can use your only so read access should only be also be okay. So if you want to do read only to yourself, then when you add the ACL, so you don't have to do this as a false. So just you have to do set read access. So you have to remove this one. So you have to just do the read access the current user to true. So these two lines will make the private. No one can read it, no one can write it, only you can write it. So just have to say set write access user true, set read access user true. Don't need to mention the public one to false. Right now we have the public access to true and write access to the current user. Okay, so this is the current one. So we are on the edit page. Let's go from the home page to the edit page first. So to go from edit page, home page to edit page, instead of a tag, we have to use the link tag of the React router DOM. And inside in the link tag, we have to use the to, not href. We have to use the to. And inside the to, we have to mention where we want to go. We want to go to, I will use the backtick method and go to edit. And here I have to pass the ID. What is the ID? ID is this one, item.id. So to mention in the mention the variable inside this backtick, we have to use dollar, curly bracket, and the variable name. So when I say dollar, curly bracket, variable name, I'm taking this variable name and inserting in this string. This is the concatenation. I could have also written like this in the single quote or double quote edit slash, and then I could have written plus item.id. So this is the normal way to do the in JavaScript concatenation. But if we don't want to use the plus sign, directly we can inject this variable here using the backtick. Okay, so I give the link to this one. Let's see link is imported or not. So we'll see. So link is here. So we have to import the link from the React router DOM. Okay, so this is the one. Let's check now. So we will see the edit part, and let's go to edit this part. So if you see in the URL, we have the edit, and we also have the ID which I want to edit it. And to get this ID in this page, we can use, so which ID I am trying to edit it, I will put it here. To get the ID, I will use constant ID equal to, so the ID will come inside the props. So I'll say props dot, okay, so I will show you where ID is coming, then I will write down here. Let me do the console.log of props. So if you see the props, we have the match, inside match, we have the params, and inside params, we see the ID is coming, and this ID is the one which we have in the URL. So if I call another one, for example, if I call the second one, I will see the edit, and I see the ID. So here ID will be, so ID will be this one, whatever we see in the URL. So I want this ID to get the data from the database for this record. Once I get the record details, I can update, I can pre-populate this two fields. So first I have to take this ID. ID will be inside the props.match.params.id. To get the ID, we have props.match.params.id. So this is the ID which we get. Now I will take this ID and I will go to the, this is the ID which I want to edit. Now I'll take this ID, grab this ID, go to database and grab the contents. Why we want to grab the contents? Because we want to pre-populate the content here. We have to say what is the location of this ID, what is the content of this ID. So we have to pre-populate, so we have to grab the data from the database. And to grab the data from the database, so let's say data is coming from the database, we have to use this ID to grab the data, and I'll write down here how to grab it. So to grab this, first I will use the React use effect, because on the page load only I have to call this use effect to get the data. So once I get the data, I have to update this form value with the content and the location, so which I will do in a bit. So in this use effect, we have the arrow function, and arrow function will take another parameter as array, and here I will pass the variables which I will use inside this use effect. So let's write down inside here. So here I will create a function called as process, which is async function, and I'll call this process function here. We cannot put async on the use effect function like here. That's the reason I have to create another function, and I have to call this function here inside the use effect. And whenever we have the async, you always have to start with the try and catch block. Right now we are not doing anything of the error, we are just displaying the error. But in future, we have to take care of this also. Right now it's only in the console.log. So I will create, so to get the data from the table, I will create the query, and I'll say new parse.query table name. This table name is this one, testing all. So I will check if what is the ID I want to use it for this one. Query dot equal to, so I have to check like this, object ID is equal to ID. This ID is nothing but the ID which I got it here. And since I am using this ID, I can pass it here also. If I get warning sign, I will pass it here. Right now I'm not doing anything. I will use this ID. I also want to check that this user should be the user who is logged in, so that no other person can edit it. This edit should be allowed only to me, not to other person. So I have to check the user who is logged in should be equal to the user. And if we get these two conditions, I will call results, constant results equal to await query dot. I can use find, but since I want to find only one record, so I will use the first one matching with the criteria. So this is the criteria. I have to match with the first one. So I will just use query dot first. If I want to find multiple record, I could have done this find. But since I want only the one record, so I can do this one. Okay, so another question I get is, if I want only the admin to edit and delete, how can I do that? I don't want the user to delete it. So you don't want to delete the user who created the record, right? Only the admin can delete it. Is that true? Okay, so to do that, I will tell you in a bit. Let me complete this part and then I'll tell you. Okay, so now, so if I don't get the results, that means there is no record, or the wrong user is on the edit page. Let's say some other person is on this edit page, and okay, so if some other user is on the page and I don't want that user to do the things, okay, then I'll not get any result. And if I don't get results, I want user to move back to the home page. And to move that user to home page, I can use the history.push. So generally in the props, we also have history. So I'm using this history, which is the part of the props. So if I want to redirect user to another page, I will say history.push, and I will move the user to home page. So if we don't have the record for this ID with this user, then I move this user to home page and I'll return it. But if I get something in the results, so I'll do console.log. That means if I have something, right now I'm printing the console.log of the results. So let's refresh the page. Okay, so something is wrong. Line number 30. Okay, I'll explain this to you 1 second. Right. There's spelling mistake. Good. You see that. Okay. So there was a spelling mistake. And line number 30 is, so if you see this object, let me show you the object again. The user is not defined. We'll see that one. So if you see this testing all record, we have this each record, and each record is created by some user. This is the user. I want only the user who created this record. Who created this record should be able to edit it, and that's the reason I'm putting this here. Even if I don't put this one, even if I remove this one, then also when I try to update it, I won't be able to update it because my ACL is saying, one second, what is the ACL? My ACL is saying write access is only to the user who created this record, who is adding this record. So if I remove that part also, though other user can see the page, but they won't be able to edit it because of ACL. So if I comment this also, then also it will work, because though people can see the edit part, but they won't be able to edit it because only the current user has access to that record. But I added this line that I don't want even to show the page also if the user is not the user who created the record. Okay, so that is the purpose. Now user is missing here, so we have to add the user part. So let's add the user part here. So I can say constant user equal to parts dot user dot current. So this is the user who wants to update it. I can move this out of this function also, because this is the logged in user and it will not change anyhow. So I can put it outside the function also, and then I can use this user. So this line means the user who created this record should match with the query. So any other user will not be able to even go into this page also. So I did this line. And if we don't get result, I will push this to the home page. So now let's edit it one of the posts. So since we get the user who created, I created this one, and this ID is matching in the database. That's the reason I'm able to see this page. For example, if I change this ID to something different, and this ID does not exist in the database, so I will be redirected to the home page. And this ID exists, so I'm able to see this page. Okay, so we got the results. Let's see what is the results. So we got the results here, and we have content also, we have the location also. So these two fields are only needed for this page. All other fields are not really needed by me. So I will ignore all fields. I will take only this location and the user, and the location and the content. So once I get the results, I will update this form value with the content and location from the results. So let's take the set form value. In the set form value, we get arrow function, and we can say D is coming, and this D is nothing but this form values, previous form value, which is this one object. So first I get this D, which is nothing but this initial object, and then I will return object, and this object will take the D as a spread operator. So I take these two values as it is. Then I'll update both the values. So I'll say content is equal to, so how to get the content from the results? I can say results.get content. So this is the method to get the value of the field. And I'll also update the location. And what is the location? It is the results.get location. So both things will come from this results one. Okay, so I updated the form value with this two one. I don't need results right now. Okay, so if you see, I am updating the form value, and the new form value will be updated, will be seen in this console.log. Okay, so if we have the results, I update the form values. Let's check it now. So initially page is loaded. Form value is, initially the form value is empty. And as soon as we get the content, the form value will update it with the content, which is the current content for this one. It is updated here also, and this one is updated here also. Okay, so now instead of Livermore, I'll change it to this one, Pleasanton, and I'll change this content also 3. But I have not written anything for the submission part. So if I click submit, it will add a new record because I am not editing it. So we have to change this to edit part. So we got this use effect for getting the new record, for getting the record, but we need to fix this submission part so that I should not add the record now. I should only edit it. So to edit it, okay, let's remove this logged in user here. So to edit it, we have to fix this part. We don't need ACL in the edit part because ACL is already in the add part. And we don't need this user also because we are not changing the user. We only need this two part is correct, setting part is correct, this part is also correct, and this is also, everything is correct. Only thing, instead of getting the new post, I have to take the old post only. So to get the old post, I will use same thing which I am doing here. I'll say constant query. So instead of this post part, I will call the query. Then I'll say query object equal to object like this. Then I'll say query equal to user. And then I'll get the results as the first one. And instead of naming it results, I will name it as post. And I'll delete these two lines. So how the post is created? By calling the same query which we have called in getting the results. And I will, call equal to, and also call the equal to user, and I'll create the post with the query.first, which is the same thing which we get it here. Since we already got the results, so I am sure that this we will not get in this if part when we submit it. So no need to check that again, since we already tested it here. So no need to check it again if it is there or not. And now this post is created with these parameters, and then I can update the post with whatever I want. So this is how we will create the post and update it. Now let's test it. So we have, let's change this to and I'll change the content to 3. So now watch it. When I click submit, you will see that this is updated to this one and content is updated to 3. So you will see the content is updated to 3 and this address is also updated. Let's change this one. So I'll see it is updated. Let's change this one. So this one is also changed. So whatever you want, you can change that to different one, whatever you want to change. So that's how we do the edit part. Now the question, back to the question. If I want only admin to edit and delete, how can do that, sir? So to do that, if you want only admin to edit and delete, so whenever user will create a record, then you don't have to give write permission to the user. Okay, so this write permission to the user is not to be given. You have to create a role for the admin. So I'll just show you, but detail will not do in this one. But I'll show you what I mean by role. So we have the roles. This is the roles. So we have to create the role using this method, administrative role. See, I'm giving this role as administrative role, and this role is named as the administrator. So once we have this role, so first we have to create the role administrator, and you can add n number of users in the administrator role. You can create moderator role. You can add n number of users in the moderator role. And once we get this role, then you can use this role to set the access control list. So once we get the role of administrator, I can use ACL dot. So we will get this role write access, and in the role write access, you will give the role of administrator. So maybe somewhere you have created the role. You should not create the role here, but you might have created already in the database, or you have written your own application to create the role. So once a role is created, then instead of this line, you can use set role write access administrator. Then user will not be able to add it. Only the administrator can add it. Whoever are in the administrator role can edit it. So that is how we do. So that is little big procedure, not for this project, but we will do something in future. So you can experiment with it if you want to try yourself.